Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya.
Mantra 1. In the beginning, this universe was but the self, Viraj, of a human form. He reflected and found nothing else but himself. He first uttered, I am he. Therefore he was called Aham, I. Hence, to this day, when a person is addressed, he first says, it is I, and then says the other name that he may have. Because he was first, and before this whole band of aspirants burnt all evils, therefore he is called Puruṣa. One who knows thus indeed burns one who wants to be Viraj before him. Śaṅkarācārya's commentary. In the beginning, before the manifestation of any other body, this universe of different bodies was but the self, was undifferentiated from the body of Viraj, the first embodied being born out of the cosmic egg, who is here meant by the word self. He is the product of Vedic meditations and rites. And this self was of a human form, with a head, hands, etc., that is, Viraj. He who was born first reflected on who he was and what his features were, and found nothing else but himself, consisting of the body and organs. He found only himself, the self of all. And as he had been purified by Vedic knowledge in his past life, he first uttered, I am he, the Viraj who is the self of all. And because, owing to his past impressions, he first declared himself as Aham, therefore he was called Aham, I. That this is his name as given out by the Shruti will be mentioned later. His secret name is Aham. Bṛhadāraṇyakopaniṣad 5:5-4. Hence, because this happened with Viraj, the cause, therefore to this day among men his effects, when a person is addressed as, who are you? He first says, it is I, describes himself as identified with his cause, Viraj, and then says to one who inquires about his particular name, the other name, the name of his particular body, such as Devadatta or Yajñadatta, that he may have, as given to that particular body by his parents. And because he, Viraj, in his past incarnation when he was an aspirant, by an adequate practice of meditation and rites, was the first of those who wanted to attain the status of Viraj by the same method. And before this whole band of aspirants burnt, what? All evils, that is to say, attachment and ignorance, which obstructed his attainment of the status of Viraj. Because it was so, therefore he is called Puruṣa, that is, one who burnt first. As this Viraj became Puruṣa and Viraj by burning all the obstructing evils, so another person, by the fire of his practice of meditation and rites, or by virtue of meditation alone, burns one. Whom? Who wants to be Viraj before him, this sage. The text points him out in the words, who knows this. It is implied that he has perfected himself in the practice of meditation. Objection. The desire to attain the status of Viraj must be dangerous if one is burnt by a sage possessing this knowledge. Reply. There is nothing wrong in it, for burning here means only the failure to attain the status of Viraj first, due to a deficiency in the practice of meditation. The man who uses the best means attains it first, and the man who is deficient in his means does not. This is spoken of as the former burning the latter. It is not that one who uses the best means actually burns the other. As in the world, when several people are having a running contest, the man who first reaches the destination may be said to burn the others, as it were, for they are shorn of their strength. So is the case here. Namaste. And welcome to the first mantra of the Puruṣa Vidya Brahmana, Bṛhadāraṇyakopaniṣad. Now, this mantra begins a whole narration about Viraj. Viraj, or Virat, or Hiranyagarbha, or Lord Brahma, the creator God, who fashions all the planetary systems and all the different species of living entities in the gross universe. So this actually picks up the story of creation kind of in the middle, because the subtle creation has already been created by Shiva and Shakti, and then Lakshmi Narayana. So the subtle part of the universe already exists, but Brahma, due to his passionate nature, is the false ego, the combined false ego of all the living entities in the universe. And he has the unenviable job of creating all the gross parts of the universe, that is, the manifestation of the universe in material form. Now, how did he get this position? Due to his past activities in previous lives, his knowledge, and his performance of sacrifice. In fact, the first two Brahmanas of this Upanishad describe in detail exactly how to do this. The problem is, being Viraj or Virat is not a very nice position, because you are stuck in Jagrat consciousness, consciousness of the external senses and material objects, for basically the duration of the whole creation. Why? Because you are responsible for making the thing happen. You're the creator, Vishnu is the maintainer, and Rudra is the destroyer. Shiva is transcendental. He's beyond everything. He's outside the universe. And he manifests within the universe as the various Rudras, 11 Rudras. And they actually destroy the various things that need destroying at the times of the end of their existence. But Brahma is the creator. He is the inseminator. He is the Prajapati, the ancestor of everyone, the progenitor, the first human being. So why is this an enviable position? Well, it's certainly better than being a conditioned being in the material world, especially during Kali Yuga, where we are now. So it would be considered a big step up for us. But as this Upanishad has described since the very beginning, this is attained by a combination of rites, meaning rituals, and meditation or knowledge, jnana. And what is that jnana? Knowing that the consciousness and the egoity, the self of or selfish nature of the living entities and the conditioned beings, is that of Jagrat consciousness. He is the sum total of Jagrat consciousness and egoity. So this is actually not a very good position to be in, because you're stuck in it for the duration of the manifested universe. Whereas any living being who has intelligence can realize Brahman. and transcend all of this differentiation. See, Brahman means unity. Brahman is the thing that unites all living beings, not only the conditioned living beings, but the enlightened ones as well. And I mean, surely that is a better state, a better position to be in than having to be the false ego of everything, thinking, I am my body. So we will see in the succeeding verses, and beginning with this verse, that the traits and qualities and activities of Virat are shared by all the subsequent living beings, beginning with his egoity. I am, Aham. He doesn't say Aham Brahmasmi. I am this body, and I am the only body within the range of Jagrat consciousness. Vishnu is already there, and Lakshmi, and Shiva and Shakti are already there, and so many of her subsidiary Shaktis are already there, but he can't see them. According to his vision, he's alone. This story is also told in the Puranas, especially the Bhagavad Purana. And there it's described that Brahma is born on a lotus flower that grows from the navel of Vishnu. So either way, when he awakens, he can't see anything else. The universe appears to be blank, empty, nothingness. And then he goes on to create everything. How? In the Purana, it's described by tapa. Tapa means meditation, austerity, renunciation, accepting suffering for the sake of self-realization. Tapa or tapasya is the means by which one gets both mystical powers, which are still only material, but which are necessary for being like Brahma, and ultimately self-realization, by means of which one realizes the unity of everything. Now, this Brahma, he knows I am. And similarly, every living being, both in the conditioned and liberated state, knows that he exists. If you stop anybody on the street and ask them, do you exist? Of course, they're going to say yes. Why? They know that they exist because the first living being knew that he existed, and his traits have been passed down through countless generations of ancestors to all the beings in the present day. Even an animal, even an insect, knows that it exists. I am, Aham. Now, unfortunately, in the conditioned state, they identify with the body. And this leads to suffering because the body is temporary and imperfect and unsatisfactory in so many ways. But in the liberated state, one identifies with consciousness, Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. And actually, Aham means I am, and Brahma means Brahman, and Asmi also means I am. So it's almost like saying, I am, Brahman I am. This is the extra added knowledge. Besides knowing one's mere existence, one knows that I am pure consciousness. I am beyond this material world. I am not part of this manifestation. I am transcendental to it. And indeed, All beings are one. All beings have the same consciousness. Consciousness is not two. It's non-dual. So the self with a capital S, Brahman, is the same in every creature. This is a profound realization that has deep consequences for everyone who reaches it. Because now you understand, you have compassion. Real compassion for other living beings means, as Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. We all love ourselves. That's one of the meanings of Aham. I am. And so I want to remain existing. I don't want to give up my body. I want to keep it. But of course, you can't keep it forever. At a certain point, the body will wear out and you have to drop it because it will not anymore be a suitable instrument for Brahman. That happens at old age. When one reaches the point where the body and mind no longer function properly, then he has to give it up and take another one, or attain self-realization. Realize the self with a capital S beyond this body, and that self is one. Cannot be two, because Brahman, consciousness, Turiya, is the absolute, and everything is derived from it. So, this is the task, or the object, or the purpose of life in the universe, to reach this realization and to go even beyond the realization of Viraj to realization of Brahman. That is the absolute truth. Aum Tat Sat. Aum Shakti Aum. Aum Namah Shivaya.